Based on the work that the ELC and the board has done, our elevator pitch as to who we are now is very simple. We're in the business of fostering new job creation by working with every one of you in this room. And we're focusing on three main areas of activity: investment, attraction, and expansion, sector development, and workforce availability. That's really how we're structuring our directions, our strategy, and it's also how we structured the organization to be in sync with the directions that we got from the ELC. This is the new structure governance model of the organization. Lois talked about the upper part. I just want to say a few words about the three new centers that we created. I'm going to start by the far right and talk about the Business Services Center. This is, if you're community-focused, program-based, you've been relocated to a new Business Services Center at the Peace Center, and today I'm taking advantage of being here to announce that we are officially open at the Community Peace Center. You will receive an invitation soon to have a formal reception there, but we are now officially in business at the Community Peace Center, downtown Moncton, with all our staff that support startup businesses, newcomers, youth entrepreneurs, and so on. So, yes, thank you. At the current address, our main office, we restructured the organization into two pillars: our Market Analysis Center that is led by Frédéric Gionnet, and our new Business Attraction and Expansion Center led by Adrian O'Prey, who many of you know. These two centers are also up and running. More importantly, what we want to sort of officially announce today is that we completed our one-stop shop with some very hard work. I know Rachel is here with her team. Louis-Philippe was on vacation. So Rachel is with the Department of Economic Development with the province of New Brunswick. They are now, as of a couple of weeks, physically with us at 3+, along with our friends at Invest NB and the Chamber of Commerce, who we co-host the current floor. So the name of the game in economic development, as you know, is to minimize duplication, enhance regional cooperation, and we felt it was critical in order to succeed that we bring together some of the key regional players under one roof. And this would not have happened without the leadership of the province and Rachel's team and Louis-Philippe at Invest NB. But as of a couple of weeks ago, we're now up and running as the one-stop shop, and I wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to thank Rachel and her team. They moved to us, so it was bumpier for them. They went through a very important transition, but we're now up and running, and we're really pleased about that. So Rachel and Louis-Philippe and your team, on behalf of the Chamber and us, merci beaucoup. Many of you were at our launch of the new brand. I'm not going to take a lot of time, but some of you were not there. So 3+ caught some people by surprises, and to be blunt, that's what we wanted. So everybody's talking about it now, and Bill is laughing. So 3+, in a nutshell, we wanted a new brand that was bold, that was young, that was relevant to the new breed of leaders that we want to appeal to, that would be international, that would be not just bilingual, but multilingual, and that's exactly what this brand does, because it's almost a symbol. So by being a symbol, it's very compatible with the social media that we live in right now. And of course, we wanted a brand that was relevant of who we are and what we do. And who we are, we're the tri-community of Dieppe, Moncton, Riverview, plus the surrounding areas. We're the hub of the maritime provinces, the 3 maritime provinces, plus the other surrounding provinces and New England states. We're divided now into 3 business centers at 3+, as I showed you earlier. And we're in the business of growth, prosperity, bringing people together, adding friends, and plus is an international renowned sign that says just that, growth, prosperity, adding, bringing together. So at the end of the whole sort of rebranding exercise, it became clear that we were 3+. So that's the essence behind the brand, and I know our friends at Hawk are here today, so thank you for your hard work on that. The feedback we've received has been really positive. When we launched the brand, we launched the new campaign, What's Your Plus? And we have the 3 mayors here. This ad, they were the ones that launched the new name, the new corporation. Lois is absolutely right in the opening remarks. They've been supporting this. This is really the Greater Moncton Corporation, and we could not be happier that they launched this. Over the months to come, over the weeks and months to come, we're going to build on that What's Your Plus and invite you to participate. We'll want to hear from you, and then we'll design sort of What's Your Plus campaign around this, so stay tuned for more details on that. We created a community profile. I'm going to skip that slide because I'm going to come back to it earlier. We've been working with our friends at the City of Moncton, City of Dieppe, and in Riverview on the retail market. This is an important market for us. A lot of retailers are paying attention to Moncton right now. We created this new brochure that we're going to use in Toronto next week. Cabela's and Bass Pro are coming to the Greater Moncton community. This is unbelievable how big of a deal that is. These are anchor tenants, our friends at the City of Moncton. I see Kevin sitting over there. They've done a lot of work to bring Cabela's to the city. Our friends in Dieppe did a lot of work to bring Bass Pro to the city. Bass Pro, I'm just going to take a second to talk about Bass Pro because it's really, I think people don't realize it's not a brand that is as known to us in the community, but it is the Walt Disney in the world of retailers. Bass Pro store is going to be 120,000 square feet, 110,000 square feet. That's the size of Costco. So think about that for a second. In Arizona, there's a Bass Pro shop outside of Phoenix. It is the #1 tourism attraction in the state of Arizona. In Arizona, there's another attraction that you may have heard of. It's called the Grand Canyon. There's more people going through the doors of the Bass Pro shop than there's people visiting the Grand Canyon every year. And we're getting one of those right here in Greater Moncton. And the second biggest in that field is Cabela's, and they've also chosen Moncton, and they're opening at the same time. So now suddenly we're in the game of being a leader again in the retail world. So based on that, we're going to be working with our friends in the 3 cities to leverage that. This is some of the work that we've done. We've been, again, Sarah Short, who's here in the back somewhere, has done some fantastic work with our Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge and all the work that she does supporting young entrepreneurs in the community. The immigration file, we heard it over and over again. This is one theme that came out loud and clear à notre sommet économique plus tôt cette année. Le dossier de l'immigration est extrêmement important. Nos amis à la ville de Moncton, Kevin, Richard, just launched recently an immigration strategy. We're going to look at it and see how we work with them to make it work and make sure that all the stakeholders in the community are engaged. They've done some great work on that, and we continue to support newcomers as well through our Business Services Center downtown. Just people asked, why do you relocate your Business Services Center? Well, the reason is simple. We want to minimize duplications of resources, and we want to enhance regional cooperation. And we felt that we needed to be at the Community Peace Center to be closer to Magma, CAFI, and all the other service providers that are complementary to what we do as opposed to being separated and duplicating resources. That's why we're there. So again, showing leadership in enhancing regional cooperation. Business startups, a lot of great work. Nikos has done, and all of you on that. It's leading to a fair number of new jobs. We're really pleased about that. We've done a lot of work on sector development, on where we feel growth can happen in our community to really take Greater Moncton to the next level. Adrian has done some work on the gaming and animation sector. We've done some work in all those sectors. Transportation and logistics is a key one. We've been working very closely with the airport on that, and I know they're here. Joanne, thank you for your hard work and your support. With Jacques, we're meeting regularly on some really interesting files that are going to be game changers for the community. The strategic partnership, we talked about that. Lois talked about that. Thank you so much for your vote of confidence. We're very lucky to have the 3 cities that believe in us. We're also very lucky to have a business community that believes in us. Many of you here are our strat partners. We've made significant progress with the strategic partnership. We rebranded this partnership based on your feedback. We minimized it, simplified it, clarified the value proposition, and we're humbled by the response that you've given us with your support. Now that we have our full team in place, we'll be even more aggressive and in a positive way in meeting with you and explaining the importance of the strategic partnership. As part of value proposition now, the strategic partnership has 4 seats reserved for it on the board of 13. So you are definitely part of the family now, and on behalf of all of us, we'd like to thank you for your support. Merci beaucoup. Lois talked about measuring. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it, right, sir? And so we do have a new dashboard, a new scorecard that is in place. Since April now, we've been tracking all the new jobs that we've helped to create with many of you in the room. We're 62% down the road to our target for this year. We'll be presenting this to our board a second time, then to the ELC, and then that's a tool that we're going to share with all of you in the weeks and months to come. But it's done, it's ready, it's being updated by our staff, and we're making progress towards achieving our goal. I just want to say a few words about our regional economic development strategy. We are working right now on a new regional economic development strategy. It started with the economic summit earlier this year. That was very, very successful. As a result of the summit, we generated a post-summit report that David Campbell wrote, and we distributed it to all of you. Some of the meat of that report is going to be the base of our new economic development strategy. At the same time, it was critical for us to make sure that people would be engaged. It's clearly not the 3+ strategy, it's the Greater Moncton strategy, and there's more work to be done to make sure that we consult with all of you to make sure that collectively we understand each of our role in it and that it's your strategy and not the 3+ strategy. So we're continuing to consult with some of the key sector leaders. You've seen some of the slides before. In the gaming and animation, some work has been done, transportation and logistics. There'll be more work to come. We're working with some of you and our board now on a framework that's going to accelerate the engagement of all the community stakeholders. There's some meetings lined up over the next few weeks, and we're going to be positioned to report back to the community on that very shortly. So stay tuned. There's some great progress being made there. The key is to make sure that we find a way to engage all the community stakeholders. This is the only way it's going to work. This is the only way that collectively we're going to win, and we're going to take Greater Moncton to where it is now, to where it needs to go. When we had our economic summit earlier this year, there's one key message that Francis McGuire talked about, and it's understanding your product. We need to understand our product. We need to understand our value proposition. We need to understand our pitch. And it cannot be understood just by some of us. It has to be understood by all of us. And that's something that we felt it was important. That's something we felt that was part of the role of 3+ to inform our community, the stakeholders, of our value proposition. Because we're all part of the Greater Moncton Power Team, we like to call it. It's important that you feel that you're part of it. So we've been preparing a community profile that was shared with some of you. This is a document that as soon as it's 99% finalized. Right now it's only in English, so we're going to finalize it 100%. We're going to translate it in French. As soon as it's translated in French, it's going to be distributed and shared with all of you. And this is sort of a song from which we sing to sell Greater Moncton, and collectively we all understand the value proposition that we have to offer. So we're really pleased with this document. Be well aware that it is available now. Some of you have approached us saying, we're going to Europe, we're pitching this, we need to understand this or that, can you help us? And we've given them access to the pitch, and that was a helpful tool. So this is very important. And stay tuned for the final report over the weeks to come. Understanding our product, there's some critical factors that we could have a whole afternoon on this, so I'm not going to talk about them all, but the central location is very key. Low cost of doing business, educated workforce, capacity to attract people is very important, and infrastructure is very important. Quickly, the central location is key, and today's theme is about building a future. I'm very excited about today because for years, for the past 25 years, we talked about central location, but in the context of the Maritimes. And that's why trucking is so vibrant here, and we have 3 of the top 10 largest trucking companies anchored in Moncton because we're the hub of the highway network and the hub of the Maritimes. As we build the next 25 years, there's an amazing business case to be made that we're the hub between North America and Europe. And I'm going to leave it at that because that's part of Hunter's pitch to us in a few minutes. But this is a very important corridor. It has 1.1 billion people living in it, and we're right in the middle of it. That's why the work that we're doing at the airport is so critical, because the extension of the runway from 8,000 to 10,000 feet allows cargo planes to land now in one of the most important trading corridors, emerging trading corridors in the world. So this is something that moving forward, as we position ourselves as a leader, we need to leverage. There's already some work doing on that, but I'll leave it at that and let Hunter talk about that. KPMG once again came out with their study that positioned Moncton as the lowest cost urban center in which to do business in North America. And we can say that and brag about ourselves, as there's nothing that has more value than a third party saying it on your behalf. And again, this is what KPMG has said earlier this year, and that we need to continue to leverage very strategically. This study, this document is available. If you need it for anything that you do, please let us know, and we can share that with any one of you if it can help you seal deals in making business. Educated workforce, we have many. We have University of Moncton here, Université de Moncton, les collèges communautaires. We really have a high ratio of educated workforce considering the size of our community. The capacity to attract people. This is a slide that I want to spend just a bit more time because it's very important. First of all, right now, Moncton, Greater Moncton, is the 5th fastest growing urban center in Canada. So this is pretty cool considering where we were 25 years ago. We're the #1 east of Saskatoon after Calgary, Edmonton, Kelowna, and Saskatoon. This is a big deal, and this is kind of the information that stakeholders that we try to attract to our community, it resonates with them. We're forecasted to have tremendous growth, more population growth than anybody else in our region. But a stat that people may not know that I thought was very interesting is that there's no other urban centers in Canada that has a higher ratio of Canadians moving to their community from. So within Canada, Moncton attracts more Canadians. The ratio of their population growth that is driven by other Canadians moving to their community is higher than any other urban centers in Canada. And that's really important for us. When we try to attract companies to our region, let's say an IT company of 200 people from Toronto, there's no 200 top-notch IT programmers doing nothing in their living rooms in Greater Moncton right now waiting for us to create jobs. They're all employed. So when you try to convince someone to move here, you need to be in a position to show that if you create jobs, people will move to. And this stat and this graph confirms that more than any other graphs that you can think of. So this is really, really important for us. Infrastructure is very key for us for the reason that, that we all know. But infrastructure now, moving forward, is going to take a whole new definition over the next few years. So the community profile is here, and if you need it until it's bilingual, just give us a call, but we'll get back to you over the next few weeks and share that information with you.